Greetings, everyone. Welcome to a quick draft. We are not going to play out all the games. We may not even play any. Depends on how long all of this takes. Probably get one, maybe two games in, though, or something. But mainly what we want to do here today is explore what the bot update has meant to quick draft on Magic the Gathering Arena. I did a lot of bot drafting when the set first launched to see how the bots were, and the answer was not aware of how good the cycling deck is, because early on you could just, the correct thing to do with quick draft, and even after the deck kind of broke, the correct thing to do in quick draft was to force cycling, or basically lean into it, or straight force it to whatever extent you can. Because if the bots don't prioritize the payoffs, it means you just get all the payoffs in the pod, and it's hard not to come up with a decent to incredible draft deck, cycling deck, if you're the only one picking up those payoffs. You're going to come up with a stupendous cycling deck. If you want to buy a stupendous cycling deck, though, I would just get it from cardkingdom.com. They are my sponsor, and they have been for a while, and their inventory is insane. One of the things I love about Card Kingdom is that if you do have a deck you want to buy, a cube you want to build, some project you have in Magic, you just get to go there. You can even upload your deck list. You can just go, you can cut and paste from a deck list file into the uploader, and boom, Card Kingdom will show you all your options for every card in that deck, and you can go from idea to deck list to on its way to you in no time at all through cardkingdom.com. So check them out for me, and check them out via my panels. Then they know you got there from here, and that is important for me. Lets them know their marketing is working, right? All right, we have 5,000 gold, so let's go ahead and use that to do some bot exploration here. Glad some of you are digging the monster train. I'm having a lot of fun with that too. It's a game we played earlier this week, and I recommend to anybody. Well, shall we force cycling and see if they've closed the cycling door? Because my recommendation if this were the old bots, seriously, my first pick is Memory Leak. Take the cycling 1 card and be set for the payoffs. So given that this is for science, and given that what was correct last time was absolutely forcing the cycling deck, I'm going to try forcing it here and see what happens. Bastion is probably my pick for an adult. If you're drafting against humans or we're not doing this for science, I would start on Bastion here. Excellent card to start with, excellent card to build around, but we're going to do some science here and see what happens if we try forcing cycling in the bot queue. To that end, Reptilian Reflection is a great payoff for it, and we're passing incredible black and black. Tactics is good, but Harvester, Blood Curdle, Poacher, and Coilbug is a combo in and of itself. Don't love the Scorpion, but black is really nice in this pack. Hopefully that helps us set up for our force here in pack 2. Now we have a startling development as a cycling 1, but I'm down with the much more expensive cycling, but much more playable. And I've said this before, I like Sanctuary Smasher. I like the 5/5 haste cycle 2. They're both 6 mana playables. Sometimes they kill your stuff in a cycling deck, and it's great to have some just beefy stuff at the top end as a backup plan if your Snare Tacticians are all dead. So we're going to take the Smasher. Again, we are intentionally trying to force cycling and see how good the bots are at protecting against this deck being open. Rock Slide is a playable in the cycling deck, but not a high choice. But we take Serpent over Parrot and Rock Slide here on the force. Starting to pay off, though, we have a Memory Leak, but we don't need to take this cycling 1 because we have both Healer and Stinger, which are way better cycling ones. And this is one of the better payoffs. No, Populous says, do you think the bot fix would be a lower density of cycling payoffs in the packs that are generated, or better better bot picks, like, or they would just have the bots prioritize cycling higher. They are not going to, or I shouldn't say, like, during my time at Wizards, nobody there would ever suggest digitally messing with collation without at least communicating to players why we were doing it and what it was for, you know? I'm going to take kind of a weak cycling option over an Evolving Wilds. Lockdown. If you headed down the black-white human path, you're going to get paid. You would get paid off pretty well in this draft so far. You often end up with humans in the cycling deck, but not often enough to make Sanctuary Lockdown worth it. I'm going to take Spell Eater as a reasonable payoff. Yeah, I was just calling out the lockdown to look at it. Here's a generic cycler, but I guess we want a generic cycler that you can cast for mana sometimes, and I don't like anything else here. Hero Academy asks, Ryan, do you truly believe that they actually took a look at tweaking the bot picks over the 2 weeks it's been out of rotation? Absolutely, yeah. It's easy. You basically... This is not a situation where some human is sitting down in front of data and sitting in front of a spreadsheet and typing in individual number updates. They're pulling in all of their data from Magic Online and from Arena. They'll do a mass update, an automated mass update to the bots based on the new data, and then a human designer will watch the new, well, if this was how I did it. So then you bring in the new information, you use the tools available to you as a designer to run through the drafts a bunch, see how they look, see how the picks are going, see what the bots are doing, and if it all looks good, ship it, or you can make some manual tweaks there. But yeah, it's absolutely, they're gonna try it, especially with something as persnickety and prone to brokenness as the bot drafting system. It does need human eyes to make sure it's keeping up with the meta and everything. Otter and Kitty, none of this matters. We're forcing a cycling deck, and neither of these, nothing in here is getting played by a forced cycling deck. Forcing cycling have no white cards yet, but, you know. Here we go, Healer. That's a great sign, right? Batra, Dark Destroyer. If you had not forced and just followed the black that was breadcrumbed for us at the beginning of this draft, you'd be looking pretty good. This is just a bummer of no support for the cycling deck at all. We're going to take Cathartic Reunion. Bleh. We could take Crystal, but I bet that Wheels doesn't really matter here. We're going to try the Cathartic Reunion, though. I'm forcing red-white cycling. I don't care what else is going on. That's what we're doing here. Part of it is just to see how this plays out. You know, are the bots tuned to help stop it? But the black-white human deck that we're passing is pretty awesome. You can take this for the cycling deck if there's not an obvious payoff, but this might be worth it. Stinger as cycling payoff, or Lava Brink Venture as just really good for any deck that can run it. I guess since we're forcing this archetype, we should force the synergies. Exactly. Funky says, can be hard to tell if the bots are tuned or if the packs are just low on payoffs. I had a guy... When I did this last time with the bot, when the bots first came out, I had one person complain that I was being very misleading because I had called this a bot test and I didn't come to any conclusions because it was only one event. It's like, you don't need a test does not require clear conclusions to have been a test. This is just a test. And we're not going to get all of the information, but we're just running one of the tests. Tactician, though, Fox, Marmoset, nice, but Fox is one of the better ones. Vanchasaur as a Cycle 1 over Wolverine or Checkpoint Officer. Also playable Cycle 1. Man, the human deck that we're passing is good, though. I don't think we want any of this for... I guess we'll take a random 2-mana Cycler. I don't think one... I am not a statistician, so keep that in mind. But Populous, when you say there's multiple samples with each pick, so you do have an adequate amount of data for a legit test, that's just not true. It depends on, I suppose, I don't know what you're saying we're testing, but I'm trying to understand whether bots are prioritizing cycling payoffs highly enough to make drafting this deck not a correct thing to force. And let's say this draft had no payoffs for the cycling deck. We still don't know for sure whether that's the bots cutting it or whether those cards not being available. I'm going to take the Cycle 1 over playable Cycle 2s. And... man, the black-white human deck here was looking pretty darn good, though. I'm never playing Light of Hope in Best of 1 basically ever, Haj. Do you play this a lot? How often are you main decking Light of Hope in Best of 1, Haj? Like, I'm never running that. How can that be? I mean, I'll take it. There's nothing... I'm certainly not running the Night Squad Commando, so I guess we can take it. I just have never run that card. Spontaneous Flight... I guess maybe actually Heightened Reflexes would be the card most likely to see. You think it's good tech? Wow, Haj, I've never had it do anything to me that I cared about. It's never done anything in any game I've played in the format. I don't know, but we're all looking through different lenses at this whole thing, so... I've never run it, no. Probably not going to run this. You have named some things that it does. I can name some things it does, too. We can all name things Light of Hope does. The question is it worth a card? And I maintain no. Yeah, you can cycle a Wilt. I mean, we'll play a Wilt. Are you serious, Hat? Are you serious, Hat? Come on. That feels like a disingenuous argument, Hat. Come on. Sanctuary Lockdown for the bonkers human deck. For those of you who ended up there, we'll just take a Flame Spill, though. So I want to see what Haj says about the card. I have run it, and the way I've used it to win is both as the +1/+1 combat trick, and also people use their Zenith Flare as a suicide, Exacties, nuke, and you gain 4 and win on the swing back. I have done these things, not just spewing whatever. Right, I get it. So you've said, but are you telling us the whole picture? How many times have you run that and stared at it in your hand and thought, I have A, no targets for this, or B, no circumstances to make this good right now? Haj is quite aware of what we mean by rot around here, but... Cycle 1, since there's no payoffs. Snacky Tacky. Marm for more payoffs. Moloch for payoff slash cycling slash glad to have one. Like that Windscarred Crag, but we're going to take the Moloch. Another spot where it's like, Momentum Rumbler is all well and good, but I just want Lava Serpents in a deck like this. Stinger late. Well, I'm saying, looks like you can still force the cycling deck with pretty solid results here. Cathartic Reunion number 2 or a Cloud Piercer as a possible toss in to have something. I am very sad when I don't have Reunion number 1, but I'm a little bit reticent to run Reunion number 2. Yeah, I guess we don't have Fire Prophecies, that's for sure. All right, we'll take this. Yeah, Hodge is clarifying because it's easy when someone starts defending a weak card to interpret it as them saying the weak card is good. Hodge is not saying anything about it being good. He's saying it's playable in certain decks, and that's fine. I have not found it to be playable, and I have not found. I've always found something else I'd rather have in over it. I'm gonna take Shredded Sails. Another crystal, more possible cycling that we're probably not going to play. I guess we'll give ourselves a flight and a... Here's another Cathartic Reunion. Definitely not playing 3. A Wilt we're not going to play. All right. Do my usual. I know I'm putting some of our key payoffs in the cycling 1, but since I'm still willing to cycle 1 away stuff in order to get our lands early on, I'm going to count them. Then we have payoffs, cycle 2, and kind of, oops, just good stuff. Where'd that? So it's kind of like this. We've got crap ton of cycle 2s, as is usual with these things. In fact, we have more in the board if we wanted. Yeah, it's 2+. I'm not making a separate column for this Sanctuary Smasher. The point is, how much cycling 1 do we have, and how much cycling do we have? That's the fundamental question. And also, because I'm doing this first to understand what our land count is going to be, to understand how much we're cutting down in our starting deck. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 cycle 1s. And a ton of cycle 2. This is a 13er or a 14, maybe. 13, maybe 14, because we really want to play Stingers and Foxes, and we do have 2 Cathartic Reunions we can run. So I think I'm going to go 14 on the strength of 2 Cathartic Reunions. But we don't need any of this non-red, non-white. And now, with our baseline set, we know how many cuts we're making. We're making 4 cuts. I think they're all going to be cycle 2s. We want all of our payoffs. We want these 3 good cards. We want all of our cycle 1s. So we're just going to cut cycle 2s, and there's going to be the crystals because we don't really want to cast these. We'll keep our red. This one can help with the memory leak. This, if we played the Wilt, could do that, but we're not playing the Wilt. So I'm going to cut this one and this one, and then at least these 2. Maybe we just cut all the crystals. Yeah, I have splashed Extinction Event Draco in cycling decks I've had, yeah. The splashes are actually pretty reliable in cycling decks because you go so deep into your deck in every cycling game that you're just that much more likely to eventually run into those splash colors you put into your deck. So I've killed the non-red-white crystals, but do we just want to kill the regular crystals as well? Or what are we most likely to cast? A Raking Claws or a crystal? That's really the only question. Keep the Savai... I think we'll keep Savai Crystal and 1 Raking Claws. I like that this Savai Crystal does give us a chance to hardcast Memory Leak, and sometimes you do want just the mana to ramp. But we'll see. If I end up with this crystal and really wish it would be a Raking Claws, I'll keep that in mind. And I'm not going to worry about bling folks here in... we'll call this new bot test 1. No, Wolverine is not a great payoff. I get it, but it's good enough. Basically, by the end of this game in these decks, it is effectively a 6/2 for 3 mana, and that's good enough. All right, well, I'll do it, Haj. We can do the claws back. I mean, I really do like having the ability sometimes to cast a crystal if you feel like you're trying to ramp to your 6-drop creatures or whatever. But we can do that. That's fine. And we'll put Flourishing Fox in the box. I'm not going to get blingy with the lands, though. Let's just get on this. Because I want to try a game. We only have about 20 minutes, so... do play, and then update our data here. Like, we don't... Maybe they're just prioritizing Zenith Flare super highly. That could be something they did, right? Let's just make sure every bot takes every Zenith Flare. That's the kind of hand tweaking they might do. Keepable. With the Stinger ready to go on 2, I'm going to not cycle on 1. We also have 3 land. That's kind of my metric. Cycling deck gets a lot more reasonable if you have no realistic chance at a flare. It's true. Crater it up, Wolverine it up here. Start cycling next turn. Maybe a Serpent and a Leak. Oh yeah, sorry, we'll get to the right place on the battlefield. Thank you for that reminder. One spell away from double strike? 2, right? This is it's sorceries or instants, and this does not qualify. Now, cycling doesn't allow us to find anything to do, so we'll hold. Got some lands for our Cathartic Reunions. Just gotta find those. Yeah, also, we might just hardcast both of these. We have the mana for it. Might cycle one of them, but they're both good hardcasts coming up. We'll keep them both. I might want to check how many cycling sorceries and instants I'm running. Why? So that I can know whether or not I'm playing the Spell Eater Wolverine. We're playing the Spell Eater Wolverine. Nothing is changing that, so I don't know. I don't know what obsessing over exactly how likely the Wolverine is to be double strike. What that does for us. I'm gonna stay back though. Yeah, maybe I should have cycled for action on that turn. I was trying to be a little cagey here. Potentially make him afraid. Also, because we could use claws to hard cast. That's why I didn't want to cycle there, Mike. Yeah. It's something that is an argument for claws over crystal. I don't think it is the thing that makes the call, but certainly it's on the scale, right? I'm gonna hold. I think we might want to cast everything in our hand, especially with Oppo struggling on their end. We could also offer Serpent for Wolf Bear. We have 2 more Serpents behind. Trouble is they also can then swing for a pretty big swing on their part. If we swing Serpent, Mike, we do let them crack back for quite a bit. They're stuck on 3 though, and if they want to, but it does put a lot of pressure. I guess we can give them a swing, given that we're gonna keep dropping the Serpents. We'll send this one, and then yeah, they swing back for 8, and that's manageable, right? So okay, Mike, we'll do it. Yeah, if they don't block and they swing out, Gone to the Arcade is pointing out that Raking Claw's double strikes is 10 points if they let it go unblocked, so we could end up getting there. We don't have it next turn, because unless we find another spell to cycle. Now we definitely don't have it. Alright, now we're going to build up Serpents. We can send in again, though. We're going to hold 1 back, right? So I'm going to send in... We could actually hold 2 back in case they remove 1. I'm going to do that. We're now low enough that I'm going to be... Now, if we swing double Serpents, we're setting up for a possible just loss. We're going to stay back. We're going to get defensive now. PV means Paulo Vitor Damadorosa, one of the top Magic players of all time, and sounds like either for fun or for some Magic promotion, Hat has chosen PV as his player to win. I like Mike's line here. Flame Spill plus Raking Claws is quite the 1-2 here. And we do have enough on the defense if they don't block here, or if they block here. We could spill the bear now and then attack. But the thing is, they might double block and let us really let us swing in 15-5. I don't know. Oh, you mean threaten the Raking Claws? I'm not sure what that exactly means, Mike, but I'm gonna wait on the Flame Spill. If we swing out, oh, you just want 1-5? Yeah. It's lethal with no blocks, but they're not gonna not block. Should we see? We keep 1 back. I don't think we should go for lethal. I'm going to put him to a 1 Serpent test. And we have lots of action. We can consider... I don't think we want to kill the Naturalist. I get that it is helping them with a mana-stuck situation. Really? Does that matter that much? Yeah. It's not the second Serpent. Third, yeah. I think we can get around this Bonder without using our removal on it. All right. Snare plus tap. Still not as good as just swinging in here. If we send all... that's too risky, right? Because we can't guarantee killing them. So let's send 2. We could send all if we send all, we have to spill before it blocks. I'm gonna keep making them. I want to get them with a double block. I think eventually they double block. And this would not be lethal if we double strike, so I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to Tactician. We can Tactician spill. And we just have to, if we put second main, we can spill on the second main and prevent the life gain if that's what we want to do. So I'm going to put the stop there. If you let it go to end step, though, then they get the trigger. So if you want... This is a thing you have to do if you want the chance to kill something before end step stuff triggers. Double strike, mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, deals 4 to a target creature planeswalker, and you gain 4. But they're tapping out to do it, so I think this is still okay. And now... Flame Spill... Is this Vigilant? No. What do we want to Flame Spill? The Bonder for the life? Yeah, because then it doesn't really matter. Yeah, spill the life gain. It does matter. We don't want him to gain life because then it becomes lethal. It's either forced blocks, forced chumps with 1 trade, or lethal. And if we find another cycler, we just win. It's even easier. Yeah, so by finding cycling, it gets even easier here. Well, there you go. Looks like forcing cycling is still quite a fine way to go about quick from my short experience here. But proving it positive is much more important to our understanding of where the bots are at than having a negative result. Like, let's say that the cycling deck had not been there at all. It'd be hard for us to know whether that was because of hard to know if that was because of lack of cycling cards in the packs or adjusted bots. But when we do kind of force it and successfully get everything, it's pretty clear to say that the bots certainly haven't been tuned to highly prioritize all the payoffs so highly that you just don't see the deck. Because that's what happened when they kind of fixed the bot situation with the mill deck in Throne of Eldraine, which was the last time we had a massively oppressive problem with how the bots were drafting in an arena environment. But doesn't look like they tuned it that hard. But we'll keep an eye on it. I assume that it'll go away and come back again maybe one more time, and and we'll see. But maybe they have data that shows that despite the availability of the deck, it's not crushing the format. I mean, people are adapting to beating the cycling deck, so it's possible that they're leaving it open because it doesn't have an oppressive win rate, whereas they might have seen that, like, for example, that mill deck in Eldraine, they might have looked at the data and seen that the mill deck not only was easy to get, but it was oppressively good. And so that could be some of the differences in how they're thinking about it as well. But I did want to at least give that one try, see what the bots were up to, and we did it. We got a pretty good cycling deck. We took one game with it. I'll play the rest offline and try to update the YouTube comments with how it played out. But we're going to call that an event in terms of YouTube content. So thanks for hanging out for this one, YouTube. A little quick content for you. We'll see you.